The general consensus is that the economy is doing well. As you can see, I put it that way because I saw brown sprouts everywhere. Asterisk popular perception asterisk. Brown shoots. What are they? They are green shoots antithesis. When you want the economy to recover from a recession, you want to see green shoots. I coined the phrase brown shoots because at the moment, we want the economy to slow down so that the Fed may eventually begin lowering interest rates instead of appearing foolish for removing the possibility of further rate hikes. Therefore, we are searching everywhere for brown sprouts, such as the Chicago PMI figures this morning, the lower consumer confidence numbers, or maybe the dismal numbers from Starbucks tonight, a large corporation. We are reminded that the Fed must continue to consider rate reduction by filing them away as brown shoots. And keep in mind that they are the secret ingredient that makes equities rise. A much hotter than expected employment number has been lurking since March 8. Our concern has been that the Fed ended its tightening too soon. Nothing is more significant to the whole economy than employment. Therefore, it's no accident that some of the best stocks of the year, such as Nvidia, peaked and dropped on that day. More rate hikes are most likely required if it continues to be robust. All of this stock market gloom, however, is likely to end if Friday's April payrolls report is less than anticipated, because weakening would indicate that the Fed was correct and that rate cuts are imminent. Wall Street wants it. However, the lack of a bridge between there makes matters more delicate than we had thought. When Steve stated that stagflation had no place in this discussion, did you nod your head? Investors have a tendency to assume the worst. Is that the worst thing that could happen? Does that fall under the purview? Is that kind of out there, really? Absolutely not, that's for sure. I completely concur with Steve, at least not in the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months. 3, 5, 7, or 10 years from now, perhaps. Perhaps we have a stagflationary situation when our debt burden gets so bad and inflation is still high for several demographic-type reasons. However, that's a long period of time off. What do you think we are currently facing? Listen, I continue to believe that we are reaccelerating. I predicted in March that a raise would need to be priced into the market. We came into today anticipating a 30% possibility of an increase this year, no cuts. And I believe that everyone on the panel gave me strange glances when I said that. Since the economy is doing well and inflation is still surprising to the upside, I continue to believe that we need to return to the point where the market begins pricing in hikes. Looking at the major AI players, if you will, I'm just positive that Nvidia has blown it out of the water. But why so much if Lisa Su's objectives for AI are becoming more and more apparent? Yes, once more, that's a component of it. They have been aspirations, correct? I've mentioned this a lot, but there are a lot of AI stories in semiconductors. AMD isn't really one of the two firms that now have genuinely significant AI revenues. At least not yet, isn't it? If you go back to AMD's previous earnings, I believe that expectations for their AI goals this year were a little bit out of line. It was estimated that $8 to $10 billion would be spent on AI 300 AI components this year. The guidance was reduced to $3.5 billion. Expectations were still that they might accomplish $6 billion, I believe, until a few weeks ago. Given some of these push-out-related worries, I believe those expectations have decreased, and the buy side may now be closer to $4 to $5 billion. On the plus side, having reduced expectations is rather advantageous. They may sort of pick stuff up as we go along. However, this is the reason for the stock's decline. However, if AMD is indeed stretching things out a bit, I believe their window is not that large, which is a risk. Through the rest of the year, Nvidia will be releasing new products that will increase the competitiveness of both their existing and future goods. You really don't want to see them push out. They simply don't have much runway to begin building scale. So this afternoon, we'll see what Lisa can come up with. Will she be able to raise that figure much enough to raise expectations beyond what they were a few weeks ago? 22 minutes into Mad Dash, we still haven't brought up Nvidia. Do you remember Nvidia? Yes, I do, I recall. Remember the segment on asterisk 60 minutes asterisk? The main topic of the article was whether or not robots would eventually replace humans. Yes, of course. I'll tell you this. This article from UBS discusses DOS and their projected earnings per share, which will be $2.41 after supply chain. $2.41. Well, this stock is less expensive, David. They are discussing shipping Blackwell in December, and the stock is inexpensive. They now believe it indicates a product gap will occur. Blackwell ships earlier, I believe. The main one now is Blackwell. Because of this, many people believe they can do videos. I want that. People should assume that you can inject video when they think about Blackwell. It will then be able to perform the video for you when you wish to perform inference. That is the very amazing thing. At the moment, we excel at words and commands. But wow, when we start the video, what does that signify? Really, what are you saying? You want your robot to behave like *Bond Daniel Craig? Well, it will do it while keeping an eye on Daniel Craig. It will succeed. It will succeed. You'll probably ask yourself, wait a second, how did it do that? After seeing that, it simply consumed the video. Print is no longer the only option. I can read Moby Dick in a second right now. Significant. However, I can project you as Cary Grant once you can include movies, David. Really? Or Garfield, John. The one who does appear more frequently is John Garfield, correct? Simply put, though video is the next big thing. You can educate robots to do things we never thought possible if you can create videos and do actions. This is not how robots will speak. Robots will say things like, "Hey, partner, how are you?" It could theoretically surpass the technology when it begins to be employed, right? Additionally, you can just do these folks if you're Amazon. I don't know whether you watched the interview. One of the best things about ChatGPT is that it stated, "We know people can have it, but I don't know what they can do with it." I attempted to look at Getty Images, SmallStalker's Getty Images, and you will be receiving, look. They use a lot of those things. However, the robot didn't know anything when I took it to the Nvidia bar. The robot will now be so intelligent that it will just be Modelo's Corona when I arrive at S&M. How would you like a Jack Daniels Diet Coke? Is not what he will say to me. No, David, you could be sexy. It would be the first time. No, it's large. Blackwell is enormous. Additionally, I believe that this UBS article regarding Blackwell is a bit too critical. Okay. SoftBank claims that its telecom division will receive chips for its supercomputer first, utilizing NVIDIA's most recent Blackwell design. Today, Masayoshi Son of SoftBank, who is working to increase the company's exposure to the artificial intelligence wave, spoke at an event hosted by NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang in Tokyo. It's amazing to be collaborating with you, and I'm so glad we're doing this. This is a whole revolution. This is the first attempt to turn the communications network, the telecoms network, into an artificial intelligence network. When we get back, SoftBank and NVIDIA are working together on AI. Earlier today, during NVIDIA's AI Summit in Tokyo, Jensen Huang and Masayoshi Son shared a playful moment. It's likely that many of you are unaware, but Masa used to be NVIDIA's biggest shareholder. Yes, we can cry together. It's all right.